Welcome to our project on coal mining. This work was prepared by Zuzana Klimková, Marie Klimková, Nikola Baudišová and Karolína Machová, and now let's introduce this topic. Coal mining is the process of extracting coal from the ground. Coal is valued for its energy content and since the 18th century has been widely used to generate electricity. Steel and cement industries use coal as a fuel for extraction of iron from iron ore and for cement production. Coal mining has had many developments over the recent years, from the early days of man tunneling, digging, and manually extracting the coal on cart to large open cut and long wall mines. Mining at this scale requires the use of draglines, trucks, conveyors, hydraulic jacks, and shearers. The history of coal mining goes back thousands of years. It became important in the Industrial Revolution of the 19th and 20th centuries when it was primarily used to power steam engines, heat buildings, and generated electricity. Large-scale coal mining developed during the Industrial Revolution, and coal provided the main source of primary energy for industry and transportation in industrial areas from the 18th century to the 1950s. Britain developed the main techniques of underground coal mining from the late 18th century onward, with further progress being driven by 19th century and early 20th century progress. Since 1819, coal mining has also been a political and social issue. Coal miners, labor and trade unions became powerful in many countries in the 20th century, and often the miners were leaders of the left or socialist movements, as in Britain, Germany, Poland, Japan, Chile, Canada, and the USA. The Industrial Revolution was a gradual change in the great period from the 17th to the 19th century when agriculture production, mining, transport and other economic sectors changed fundamentally. Until then, the economy was dominated by agriculture. In the production process, there was a transition from manual production in manufactories to large-scale factory and mechanical production with the help of new energy sources, thus leading to an increasing division of labor and specialization. With the onset of the Industrial Revolution in the 1930th century, the importance of Czech and Slovak mining began to rise rapidly. The expansion of factory production, the introduction of steam propulsion in transport, and the use of coke in metallurgy have multiplied the demand for coal and iron ore.
Mining of minerals in the Czech Republic, copper, tin, silver and gold are among the first mined raw materials in today's Bohemia. Coal has been mined since ancient time. However, the expansions of mining was from the 18th century and started the Industrial Revolution. The most important mineral in our theory of the Czech Republic is black and brown coal. Today, black coal is mined in the Ostrava Karviná district. Previously, hard coal was also mined in the Pilsen, Kladno and Brno regions. Brown coal reserves are mostly in the north of Bohemia. Another important raw material is kaolin, which is used for the production of ceramic products. The largest deposits of kaolin are around Pilsen and Karlovy Vary.
So, the living and working conditions that miners had in mines is hard to generalize because there were some owners who acted paternalistically and others were cruel. However, the work was dangerous and safety conditions were unfortunately very bad. Miners had to undergo hazards regularly, including roof collapses and explosions. Starting in 1851, inspectors recorded fatalities and they found that respiratory illnesses were common and that various illnesses plagued the mining population. Many miners died prematurely, and as the coal industry expanded, so did the numbers of deaths. Mining collapses were a common cause of death and injury. For example, now the miners are also working in dangerous, dark, and dirty environment. They usually work shifts, and there's still no natural light, and miners have to wear clothes with reflective patches. As for payment, in the Industrial Revolution, uh, the miners were paid for how much coal they produced, and if there was too much slag, which means the little pieces of coal, they could be fined. Owners required quality coal, but managers set the standards for quality coal. Workers received a relatively high basic wage, but the amount also depended on a lot of things. The system of fines could reduce their pay, and also the miners had to buy their own candles and stoppages for dust or gas. Many workers were paid in tokens, which had to be spent in shops created by the mine owner. What is coal? The main definition that I found was that it is a black or dark brown combustible mineral substance consisting of carbonized vegetable matter used as a fuel. Coal is formed when dead plant matter decays into peat and then is converted into coal by the heat and pressure of deep burial over millions of years. Different varieties of coal arise because of differences in the kinds of plant material, which is called coal type, degree of coalification, coal rank, and range of impurities, coal grade. As a fossil fuel burned for heat, coal supplies about a quarter of the world's primary energy and two-fifths of its electricity. The coal industry damages the environment, including by climate change, as it is the largest anthropogenic source of carbon dioxide. The largest consumer and importer of coal is China.
Mining disaster. Methane explosion at the CSM mine. The methane explosion at the CSM mine occurred on 20 December 2080. The CSM server mine belonging to OKD near Stonavi in the Karolína district. The blast killed 30 miners and injured 10 others. 3 miners were hospitalized in the hospital in Ostrava and Karolína. The condition of one of them was serious. It is the largest mine disaster in the Czech Republic since 19th century. The methane explosion occurred at a depth of 800 meters underground, destroying 2 mine sites. The mine was stopped after the incident. The organization of the rescue and disposal was taken over by the Mining Rescue Service, which mobilized a total of 200 rescues taking turn in 3 shifts operation. Mining techniques. The deep sea mine is collective designation for a system of mine works made for the ore quality rocks from the earth crushed. The part of the bearing intended for extraction by one is called a mine field. The mine consists of mine works, e.a. mine works, space broken into deeps. These are very different in their location, dimension, and shapes, according to their purpose. Some mining works are not deep below the surface, but they can also be at depths more than 1000 meters below the surface. The foundation of the deep mine is vertical pit. A shaft leads from the surface to the forest. The primary function of the shaft is the transport connection designed for the transport of person and material. The corridors need to extract the bearing at the broken of the shaft. These corridors are mostly horizontal and tend to be in several folds above each other. There are so serious corridors to connect the individual floors. In the event that the mining work is broken in carrying rocks, the embedded corridor needs to be reinforcing to withstand the pressure of superstructure. In the past, wooden reinforcement was used for reinforcement. Today's reinforcements are constructed of steel. Reinforcements are also placed in the place where the raw material is decently seated. The area under the advancing reinforcements is usually established, e.a. the area under the edge of 100 fills with rock material or deliberately rolls rocks out of the ceiling in order not to swamp the mining work. It is necessary to lift the so-called protection pillars, e.a. blocks to support. All mining sites must be ventilated to allow air access and exhaust of various fumes. For this purpose is used by ventilation shafts. They are usually two basic methods in the deep mine. The older one, which is used for example even today in the USA, is conquest by chambering. The method is that the miners rub a series of chambers across the leaving between the chambers pillars that ensure stability. The disadvantage of this method is the possibility of extracting only part of the stake. The second method is called walling and is widely used in European upper areas, especially for deep-sea coal mining. The method consists in the expansion for two parallel tunnels, approximately 20 meters apart.